Have you ever imagined having total control over your thoughts? Jesus revealed a spiritual master key capable of completely transforming your mind, and with it, your entire reality. This is not just a technique, it's a divine secret hidden within the scriptures. And when you truly understand it, fear, doubt, and mental confusion lose their power over you. There is one single verse in the Bible that teaches exactly how to control your thoughts so effectively that modern neuroscientists have confirmed it is the most powerful method to reprogram the human mind. This verse doesn't just teach you how to stop negative thoughts. It shows you how to replace them with thoughts that literally activate blessings in your life. If you've been fighting anxiety, worry, feelings of failure or fear, and if self-help methods haven't worked for you, this biblical discovery will completely revolutionize your mental control. Today, I'll reveal which verse it is and the specific method it teaches. You will learn how to apply it and how to activate miracles in your own mind. Have you ever noticed how your mind seems to have a life of its own? How negative thoughts suddenly appear out of nowhere and take over, even when you try to focus on positive things? After decades of living, you've probably realized that controlling your thoughts is one of the hardest things in the world. You decide you'll stop worrying, and 5 minutes later, you're anxious again. You promise yourself you'll think positive, but fears creep right back in. And the worst part is, you already know that your thoughts directly affect your life. When you think negatively, everything seems to fall apart. But when you maintain positive thoughts, things start to flow better. Here's something most people never realize. The Bible was not written only to teach morality. It contains the most advanced principles of how the human mind truly works. 2 Corinthians 10:5 reveals this secret. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Bringing every thought into captivity, that is biblical mind control. And it works better than any secular technique because it was designed by the one who created your mind. The verse I'm about to show you is a master key to completely dominate your thoughts and consequently to transform your reality. The verse that teaches true mental control is found in Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. You might be thinking, Paul, that's just positive thinking. I've tried that and it doesn't work. But you're missing the revolutionary secret of this verse. It doesn't tell you to stop thinking negatively. It tells you to fill your mind with very specific categories of thoughts. The difference is extraordinary. The wrong method, I will not think about failure. Your mind focuses on failure. The biblical method, I will think about what is true concerning my situation. Your mind focuses on truth. Neuroscientists have discovered that it is impossible to create a mental vacuum. You can't simply stop thinking, but you can replace negative thoughts with targeted categories of divine thoughts. And Paul, inspired by the Holy Spirit, revealed the 8 perfect categories that reprogram your mind for divine success. 1. True, based on God's reality, not your circumstances. 2. Honest, that produces integrity and trust. 3. Just, that aligns you with divine purpose. 4. Pure, free from mental contamination. 5. Lovely,
that fosters love and healthy connections. 6. Of good report, that builds a solid reputation. 7. Virtuous, that cultivates excellence of character. 8. Praiseworthy, that deserves to be celebrated and shared. When you intentionally fill your mind with these 8 categories, there is no more room for anxiety, fear, worry, or destructive thoughts. But here's what most people overlook. This is not a one-time exercise. It's a systematic reprogramming of your entire thought life. Proverbs 23:7 confirms it. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your habitual thoughts determine who you become and what you attract into your life. When I began to apply Philippians 4:8 systematically, I discovered something extraordinary. Neuroscience confirms that this method is the most effective tool for mental reprogramming. Neuroplasticity. Your brain creates new neural connections based on the thoughts you repeat most often. When you practice the 8 categories of Philippians 4:8, you literally rebuild your brain for success. Selective focus. Your conscious mind can only process one thought at a time. When you fill that space with whatever is true, you automatically exclude what is false. Law of substitution. Neuroscientists have found that it's more effective to replace negative mental habits with positive ones than to try to eliminate them directly. Exactly what Paul taught 2,000 years ago. But let me show you how I apply this in practice. In the morning, instead of waking up thinking about the day's problems, I fill my mind with whatever is true, the promises of God for my life. During the day, when thoughts of worry arise, I immediately replace them with whatever is just, what God considers right about my situation. At night, instead of replaying mistakes and failures, I focus on whatever is praiseworthy, what I can be thankful for that day. And the results were revolutionary. The anxiety that followed me for years simply disappeared, not because I fought against it, but because my mind became too occupied with constructive thoughts. My relationships improved because by focusing on whatever is lovely, I began to see the best in people instead of looking for their flaws. Opportunities began to appear because by thinking about whatever is of good report, I started acting in ways that built a solid reputation. Isaiah 26:3 promises, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." A steadfast mind, a controlled mind, a mind focused on the 8 right categories. But here's the secret that changes everything. You must be specific with each category, not vague. Instead of thinking generic positive thoughts, ask yourself, what is true about my financial situation based on Philippians 4:19? What is pure about my relationship that I can focus on? What is praiseworthy about my work today? That level of specificity programs your mind to seek exactly what you are looking for.
Now, let me teach you the practical method I use to apply each of the 8 categories from Philippians 4:8. 1. True. Based on the Word, not circumstances. When your mind wants to focus on problems, ask, what is true about this according to the Bible? Problem, I'm broke. Truth, my God will supply all my needs according to His riches in glory. Philippians 4:19. Problem, I'm sick. Truth, by His stripes I am healed. 1 Peter 2:24. 2. Honest. Produces integrity. Focus on thoughts that lead you to act with transparency and reliability. How can I be more honest in this situation? What honest actions can I take today? How can I build more trust in my relationships? 3. Just, aligned with God's purposes. What would God consider right in this situation? How can I align my decisions with His will? What just action can I take today? 4. Pure, free from mental contamination. What pure thoughts can I have about this person? How can I see this situation through clean eyes? What pure motivations can I hold? 5. Lovely, creates connection. What can I love about this person who irritates me? How can I respond with love in this situation? What lovely aspects can I focus on in my life? 6. Of good report, builds solid reputation. How can I act in a way that builds my reputation? What behaviors will generate a good name? How can I be recognized positively? 7. Virtuous, develops excellence. How can I demonstrate excellence today? What virtues can I develop? How can I be better than yesterday? 8. Praiseworthy, worth celebrating. What can I be grateful for right now? What deserves celebration in my life? What progress can I acknowledge? The 5-minute method. Every morning, dedicate 1 minute to each category, asking specific questions about your day. What is true about today? How can I be honest today? What is just to do today? What pure thoughts can I have? How can I be lovely today? How can I build good rapport today? What virtue can I develop today? What is praiseworthy in my life? In just 5 minutes, you program your mind for the entire day. Let me share the practical results I experienced after applying Philippians 4:8 systematically for 6 months. Result 1. The end of chronic anxiety. The anxiety that had followed me for years gradually disappeared, not through repression, but through substitution. My mind became too busy with constructive thoughts to focus on worries. Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Result 2. Transformed relationships. By focusing on whatever is lovely in people, I stopped looking for flaws and began to see their qualities. Relationships that had been strained were naturally restored. Result 3. Multiplied opportunities. By thinking on whatever is of good report, I began acting in ways that built a solid reputation. This opened doors that had been closed for years. Result 4. Increased creativity. By focusing on whatever is virtuous, my mind started seeking excellence in everything I did. That generated innovative ideas that greatly improved my professional life. Result 5. Constant gratitude. By meditating daily on whatever is praiseworthy, I developed an attitude of gratitude that completely transformed my perspective on life. Result 6. Wiser decisions. By constantly asking what is just, I began to make decisions aligned with righteous principles, and that prevented many future problems. Result 7. Lasting inner peace. The greatest result was a peace that no longer depended on external circumstances. Even in difficult situations, my mind remained stable. Philippians 4:7. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. But here's something important. The results didn't appear overnight. They came progressively, but consistently. First week, I noticed I was thinking less about problems. First month, anxiety had significantly decreased. Third month, relationships began to improve. 6th month,
complete transformation of my mental quality. The key was daily consistency, not occasional intensity. Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." When you guard your mind with the right 8 categories, your entire life changes. Now, let me be honest about the obstacles that almost stopped me from succeeding with this method. Obstacle 1: wanting instant results. Our culture has conditioned us to expect immediate change. But mental reprogramming is like physical exercise. Results come with consistent practice over time. Galatians 6:9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart." Obstacle 2: being vague in application. At first, I just thought about good things in general. That didn't work. Only when I became specific with each category did I start seeing real results. Obstacle 3: applying only when I remembered. Sporadic mental control doesn't create transformation. I had to set reminders, alarms, and routines to make it an automatic habit. Obstacle 4: trying to change everything at once. Initially, I tried to control all my thoughts simultaneously. It was impossible and frustrating. I learned to focus on one category per week until I mastered them all. Obstacle 5: criticism from others. Some people thought I was avoiding reality or being too positive. I had to choose between pleasing others or transforming my mind. Matthew 10:36, "A man's enemies will be the members of his own household." Obstacle 6: automatic mental resistance. My mind had been addicted to negative patterns for decades. At first, there was automatic resistance to positive thinking. I had to be patient and persistent. Obstacle 7: not connecting to a higher purpose. When I applied Philippians 4:8 only for personal benefit, my motivation was weak. When I connected it to the purpose of being a blessing to others, my consistency increased dramatically. Obstacle 8: not recording progress. Mental change is gradual and can easily go unnoticed. Starting to record small daily improvements was essential to keeping my motivation alive. How I overcame each obstacle. 1. Patience. I set realistic expectations, 90 days to see meaningful change. 2. Specificity. I created clear, focused questions for each category. 3. Systematization. I set fixed times for practice. 4. Gradual focus. One category per week. 5. Independence. I stopped discussing the method with skeptics. 6. Persistence. I continued even when I didn't feel motivated. 7. Purpose. I connected my growth to serving God's kingdom. 8. Recording. I kept a simple journal of daily progress. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Renewal of the mind is a process, not an event.
Let me give you the exact plan I use to apply Philippians 4:8 in a systematic way. Week 1. Establish the basic habit. Days 1 through 7. Focus only on identifying negative thoughts and replacing them with any of the 8 categories. Don't worry about which one. Whenever a negative thought appears, ask yourself, how can I think about this in a way that is true, honest, just, pure, lovely, of good report, virtuous, or praiseworthy? Week 2. Master the first 4 categories. Days 8 through 14. Focus on true, honest, just, and pure. Morning. Spend 5 minutes defining what is true, honest, just, and pure about your day. During the day, replace negative thoughts only with these 4 categories. Evening. Review how you applied these 4 categories throughout the day. Week 3. Add the next 4 categories. Days 15 through 21, add lovely, good report, virtuous, and praiseworthy. Now use all 8 categories systematically.
Create specific questions for each area of your life. Practice quick transitions from negative thoughts to one of the 8 categories. Week 4. Automation and refinement. Days 22 through 30. Make the process automatic. The goal is for thought substitution to become natural. Refine your specific questions for each category. Begin helping others apply the same method. Daily routine for 30 days. Upon waking, 5 minutes. What is true about today according to the Word? How can I be honest in all my interactions? What just actions can I take? How can I maintain pure thoughts? In what ways can I be lovely today? How can I build a good reputation? What virtue can I develop? What is already praiseworthy in my life? During the day, whenever a negative thought arises, 1. Recognize, this thought doesn't fit Philippians 4:8. 2. Replace, how can I think about this in a way that is, choose one of the 8 categories. 3. Act, take an action based on the new, reprogrammed thought. Before sleeping, 3 minutes. Review the moments when you applied the principle successfully. Identify missed opportunities. Give thanks for the progress of the day. Prepare your mind for tomorrow's renewal. Support tools. 1. A small pocket card with the 8 categories and their guiding questions. 2. Phone alarms reminding you to practice 3 times a day. 3. A simple journal to record daily progress. 4. A verse of the day connected to each category. 5. An accountability partner who also practices the method. Signs that it's working. Week 1. Less mental rumination. Week 2. Noticeable reduction in anxiety. Week 3. Improved relationships. Week 4. Greater clarity in decision-making. Day 30. A visible transformation in the quality of your mind. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Taking every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. In just 30 days, you can bring your mind captive to Christ through the 8 powerful categories of Philippians 4:8. We've reached the end of this journey of mental transformation, and now you know the verse that teaches the true control of the mind, Philippians 4:8. You've discovered that biblical mind control isn't about repressing negative thoughts. It's about intentionally occupying your mind with 8 specific categories of constructive thinking. You've learned that this isn't just theory. It's neuroscience applied 2,000 years before scientists discovered how the brain actually works. But now comes the crucial question. What will you do with this knowledge? Will you apply it systematically for 30 days and see your mind completely transformed? Or will you file it away as just another interesting piece of information? Because your mental quality determines your life quality. Your habitual thoughts create your reality. Let me ask you some final deep reflection questions. 1. Which category of negative thoughts most dominates your mind right now? 2. Which of the 8 biblical categories do you most need to develop? 3. What area of your life would change if you completely controlled your thoughts? 4. Are you willing to dedicate just 5 minutes a day for 30 days to transform your mind? 5. How would your life look if you truly applied Philippians 4:8 consistently? Proverbs 23:7 declares, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." You become what you habitually think. If your thoughts are full of failure, you'll live in failure. But if your thoughts follow the 8 categories of Philippians 4:8, you'll live in what is true, honest, just, pure, lovely, of good report, virtuous, and praiseworthy. Romans 12:2 challenges you. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Renewal of the mind equals biblical mind control equals transformed life. Your first application can begin right now. Father, I recognize that my thoughts have been shaping my life. From today onward, I commit to applying Philippians 4:8 daily. May my mind be filled only with what is true, honest, just, pure, lovely, of good report, virtuous, and praiseworthy. Transform my life through the renewal of my mind. Amen. Now prove that you believe. Start your 30-day plan today. Download a reminder app. Write the 8 categories on a small card. Set times to practice. Be specific. Be consistent. Be patient. And get ready to discover what it means to live with a mind completely under divine control, focused on what truly matters, producing a life that reflects the goodness and power of God. If this revelation about biblical mind control touched your heart, if you realized that you need to master your thoughts to transform your life, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who also struggle with anxiety, worry, and destructive thoughts. And most importantly, start today, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, identify one negative thought that's in your mind and replace it with one of the 8 categories from Philippians 4:8. This might be the first step toward the greatest mental transformation of your life. Philippians 4:8 is not a suggestion. It's a divine command for your mental freedom. Use it, practice it, live it, and prepare yourself for a renewed mind that produces a completely new life.